Okay, so this video is going to be about how to add a featured image which will show up on the front page of your website. So as you can see here, there is no featured image here, so you just see the title, the post information, the blurb, and then read more. For this one, I have set a featured image, so you see the image here, and then you see the information and the read more. And for this one, I've set a featured video, not an image, and it shows up here. And I did one for this one, but I didn't do them for the rest of them. So I will show you first in this video how we can do a featured image. So it's up to you if you want them or not. You can always remove them if you prefer to not have images at all. I just put them up there so that you can get an idea of how it would look if you did have a featured image. One thing to keep in mind when choosing a featured image is that the dimensions of the image should be about this. So if you look, the dimensions of this image are 955 by 457. So you want to choose an image that's wide enough so that it doesn't look distorted. If you choose an image that is too small, then it's going to look really bad. So I'll show you what I mean in a second. So we're going to start off by clicking on this post because we're going to add a featured image to this post. So I'm going to click on it. And I'm already logged into your dashboard, as you can see, so that's why you have your icons here to edit the page. So as it stands right now, we have your images within here. So I scroll down and I found an image that we could use that you already put in there, and that's this one. Since it is a large image, as you can see, it stretches from one side to the other, so that's exactly the type of image we want, and it's not too high. So you don't want something that's too high because then it'll just take up a lot of space. But it's up to you. If you don't mind having, you know, an image that's like, you know, super big, that's no problem. It's up to you. But I like one that is wide, but not necessarily too tall, I should say. So we're gonna go to edit page. Since we're on this page, this is the page we want to edit. And now we're in the back end editor. So here we have what your post is, so you can see this is the visual and this is the text version. It doesn't really matter for this post or this video right now what we're in, because what we're going to do here is we're going to set a featured image right here. So it says featured image, and we are going to set featured image, and I'm going to find that image that you used in your post, and this is perfect because it's really big. So we're going to insert that. And we're gonna go ahead and keep scrolling down until we get to the options. So here we are. So we're at the options now, and you can see your options here. So revolution slider options, we don't need that. We're gonna go to Qode general, and under here we have hide featured image. So I'm gonna show you what it looks like if you don't click on hide featured image. I prefer to not have the featured image at the very top of the page, so I recommend clicking yes to this. Otherwise you will have this Sandra Bland image at the very top of your page as well as within your post. So we're going to keep it at no so that you can see what it looks like when you don't select yes to hide it. I'm going to update this. And now we are going to view the post so you can see what it looks like when I don't hide the featured image. So here you can see the featured image shows up at the top as well as in your post still. So if you don't mind having it at the top, or you want to set a featured image that may be different from the images that are, you know, within your post, that's fine. You can set a featured image and then all of your contents will be at the bottom. But this featured image, again, is what will enable you to have a featured image on your home page for that post. So as you can see, we are on your home page now, and we now have a featured image for this post here. So we're going to go back to this post, and I'm going to show you what happens when you set the featured image to be hidden. So I'm going to go down back to the options, and it says hide feature image. I'm going to select yes to hide that image. We're going to update it. And then we are going to view that post again. So we're going to refresh it and view the post again. And as you can see, the image is gone from here, but it will still be on the home page. So when you set hide featured image, it just hides it from the post. And again, if you're going to be using an image as your featured image to also be in your post, you don't necessarily want it in the same post 2 times. So that's why it's just hiding the featured image. If maybe you didn't have this picture here, or maybe you wanted to use a different featured image at the top, then you could do that and decide not to hide the featured image because you would want it to show up at the top. One last thing I wanted to show you was what happens when you use an image that's too small. So I'm going to select one of your smaller images. So I'm going to see what you have that's a bit smaller. So let's take this one, for instance, or even this one. Let's take this one. So if the image is too small, this is what's going to happen. So let's find that image in here. And as you can see, it's a smaller image, 480 by 359. Let's set that as the featured image, and we're gonna update it and wait for it to update. Then we are going to refresh this. So we're gonna go back to the page. It's not gonna show up at the top because I already hit the featured image. But as you can see, this is now the featured image, but it's blurry. So, I mean, it's up to you. It's not that bad, but I personally prefer to use an image that has a wider profile and actually is a lot larger, so the image isn't too distorted. I mean, this one's slightly distorted, but it's not a big deal. This one is also slightly distorted because it did have to stretch the image in order to fit. But we're going to go ahead and replace it with the Sandra Bland one instead. And the clearness of the Sandra Bland one is a lot better because it is a larger image. So you don't have the pixelation and it looking distorted and stretched. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We're going to refresh this because I think it has updated. And there you go. So it's nice, clean, crisp image. So that is how you add a featured image. It's up to you if you want to go ahead into all the posts and add a featured image or not. And you can always change that. Like for instance, I selected this as your featured image, but you can always click onto that post and change that featured image if you want to any of these or something entirely different if you want. It's entirely up to you. So yeah, all you have to do is go to edit page and you will see on the sidebar here the featured image. And again, just to recap, you want to always select hide featured image if you don't want it showing up at the top of the page. So yeah, and let's just update. So that image won't show up at the top of the page. And voila. So that is pretty much it. And if you do have any questions, feel free to let me know. But that is how you add a featured image to your post that will also show up on your front page of your blog.